everyone. Welcome to the Dating is Hard podcast. I'm your host, Joe Welkie. You can find out everything you need to know about this show and podcast at datingishardcomedy.com. You can follow the Instagram page at datingishardcomedy. You can follow me on Instagram at Joe Welkie. It's all there. All the info that you could ever need about this show, about my shows, etc. The Dating is Hard live show is every fourth Wednesday at Pack Theater. It's a by donation theater, which means if you got extra money that you could send the theater's way, you should totally do that because it helps keep the lights on, helps them, paying rent and allowing great shows like Dating is Hard to be put up there. But if you don't have money to spare, guess what? You can still come to the show. You can still enjoy all the great times that are involved with the Pack Theater. If you're unfamiliar with this podcast, if it's your first time listening, this is what the deal is. I am on dating apps with profiles that say, hey, I'm looking for people to come onto my show and talk about their craziest and most unique dating stories. And that is how we met. I always do that. I don't know why I say we. That is how I met today's guest. Today's guest I met through Bumble, and she's got some great stories involving, one of the actors that was on Gilmore Girls, apparently. I don't know who this guy is, but maybe if you watched the show, you can put together who this person is that she actually went on a date with and has a pretty ridiculous story about. So yeah, give it a listen, and I hope you enjoy my interview with Bethany. Hey everybody, welcome to yet another episode of the Dating is Hard podcast. If you don't know, I've been on dating apps trying to find people to come on the show to share their most interesting and weird and unique stories about dating. And through Bumble is how I met today's guest. So everybody, please welcome to the show. Welcome Bethany. Bethany, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks. This is already off to a weird start, everybody. I already feel like I've kidnapped Bethany, and I apologize. She's completely sick.
I agreed to this, but it is a little weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
Yeah.
It's definitely different than like, hey, you want to get some drinks? It's like, hey, you want to do a podcast about the shittiest parts of dating?
Yeah. Because if I had like drinks, then I'd just be like totally numb. I'd be like, yeah, whatever you want.
Oh God, don't say it. Don't advertise that.
That's why I don't do like first dates with drinks.
Yeah.
I used to when I was like younger, and then I went on like a date and for like 2 drinks, and then I like passed out in this guy's car, and I like woke up in his bed like the next morning.
You passed out after 2 drinks?
Yeah.
I've never drank in my life,
okay.
So I don't understand.
Okay, you don't drink. So. Yeah. If you're a girl, it's sort of like weird, like Russian roulette, like how drunk are you gonna get?
Uh-huh.
Like, so it's like what you ate, like, is your period? It's just like there's math.
Wait, what does your period have to do with it?
Well, if it's like right before your period or during your period, you get like more drunk. So I just had like 2 drinks and like I like passed out in his car. So we got in his car because like the place like. I didn't like it, and I was like, oh, let's just go somewhere else. Like, I'm drunk, and, like, I'm willing to go in your car. And I just fell asleep in this car.
Oh, my God.
And now I don't go out for a drink.
Lesson learned. Don't go out for drink. Well, so
yeah.
what do you think is, like, a good first date idea, then?
Coffee.
Coffee, okay.
Ice cream.
Ice cream, did that.
Yeah, like anything that's, like, a shorter, like, amount of time, because you don't know if you like the person yet.
Yeah, shorter amount of time, also cheaper. Also, not lowering your inhibitions to where it could be a problem.
Yeah. I think the drinking thing can make you do stuff that's, like, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we met on Bumble. Are you on any other of the apps?
I am on Tinder, but I just, like, really haven't been using it that much. Because, like, I just moved back from, like, San Diego.
How long you been in LA?
So I lived here for like 3 years, but I just moved back like 2 weeks ago, maybe like a week and a half or something. Yeah.
Wait, am I the first person that you met from a...
No.
Oh, okay.
I met this guy on Sunday. He like wouldn't leave me alone, even though I was like working really hard on the shit, like I was doing a test for a video game company, and he just like wouldn't leave me alone. And I was like, fine, like I'll go hang out with you. And we got ice cream. And then he was like a catfish, and he was like 30 pounds heavier and like at least five years older. Like,
really?
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. I just wanted to get out of there.
Like, how long ago do you think his pictures were from?
I think they were from New York City because it was cold, and then he said he'd like moved like 5 years ago from New York because he was wearing like winter jacket and stuff, and it was just like, okay, well, you're not that size and you don't look like this anymore. Like, you need to get new photos.
Yeah.
I didn't say that to him because I don't know, like, you should be able to tell people, like, hey, you catfished me, it's not cool. You catfished me with, like, old version of you. I wanted to go on a date with old
I want to
version
go
of
out
you.
with New York John.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out with LA John.
Yeah. But it just becomes uncomfortable because no one wants to, like, admit to being, like, that shallow. So then you're just, like, even though this is dating app where you're, like, hot, not hot, no.
Yeah.
So it just was like, okay, that wasn't great, bye. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to tell people that. Not even, like, as, like, a... like, I'm exposing you, like you're a catfish or something, but to be, like, a helpful, like, hey, just so you know, you don't look like that on your pictures, and it's going to be a problem for you in the future. Because it was a problem for me.
Yeah.
But most people probably know that.
Well, I think, in my head, I think it's that guys think girls are less shallow, which I guess if you listen to your podcast, maybe you're not. But, like, they're like, oh... they're gonna like me for my personality. It's like, dude, everyone has a fucking personality. Like, you're not special.
Bethany.
What? Everyone fucking does.
Damn, trashing personalities.
I'm saying everyone's like beautiful on the fucking inside. So you have to be the right level of beautiful on the outside.
All right, I can handle that. I guess I can deal with that, you know. I have a rule, like, if you have pictures, like when I first moved out here, my friend, who's a comedian, I met her in real life first. And then I got on dating apps, and I saw her on her profile, and her pictures looked nothing like what she looked like in real life. So I went on her Facebook to see, like, how long ago the pictures were. The pictures were from 6 years ago. Yeah. And it's like, dude.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Yes.
You're catfishing with yourself at that point. You're like, old me.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I have a rule that, like, for myself, and I think that it should be for everyone. If you're the longest back that you can go is like a year and a half, 2 years. You know? Yeah. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think so.
And I remember I put that on Facebook at some point, and somebody was like, Joe, how much do you really change in 2 years? Like, do you really look that different? It's like, dude, 2 years ago I had bleach blonde hair. Yeah. Like, yes, I'd look very different now. But anyway, yeah. So it's not been working out for you so far out here in LA? Just the one guy?
As of a week and a half, you're my second date. So
yeah. Podcast date.
Podcast date.
Well, you're the first to get the Dating is Hard merch swag, so that's something.
I got a button.
Yeah, baby, get them buttons. Don't sound so excited.
Yeah, I mean the buttons. The buttons.
It's a pretty sweet button.
It's really good. I'm gonna put it like on this thing. I know exactly where I'm gonna put it.
Don't lie to me.
No, I really am. I'm gonna take a picture and I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, cool.
And then it's you're like, whoa.
I'm gonna be like, whoa.
Whoa, she's gonna look at that and think about this.
So how long have you been using dating apps? Has it been a while, or is it just since you've been out here, or what?
I've been using dating apps since I lived in New York and like Boston. So
wait, you lived in New York?
Oh, yeah, I'm from New York.
Oh, I lived in New York for 5 years.
Oh,
before I
okay.
moved out here.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were from Maryland.
Yeah, but after I graduated college, moved to New York for 5 years, doing the comedy shit.
You do the comedy shit?
Oh yeah, and then now I'm out here doing the comedy shit and this podcast. Oh my god, the Dating is Hard podcast. A little plug within my
you're
podcast.
plugging yourself and your podcast.
Yeah, the Dating is Hard live show is every fourth Wednesday. Pack Theater at 9:30.
Fucking God.
Yeah, I have it down.
I can't recover from that.
So you were using them in New York.
Yeah. I think I'm like one of those people that like I just break up when it's not working. So it just depends how long it takes for it to not be working. But I will be single for like a while too, because I won't date people that I don't think are a good person for me. So
That's really smart.
I just don't want to do it.
I just won't date people that I think are bad people. You know, just
No, I don't mean they're like bad people. I think they're just not right for me.
yeah.
So if I don't like them, I don't date them. So
How long does it usually take, you think, for you to figure that out, whether or not they're good or bad?
I think it's usually just the first date, but initially
Really?
it was like 3 dates because I was like, I don't know, like, because I was like, well, maybe I should give them a benefit of the doubt. It's like, no, it's like multiple choice question. It's always the first answer.
Yeah.
So if you're like,
Go with your gut.
yeah, if you're like no, then no.
That's interesting, guys. I always am like, I'll do 2 dates because, you know, first date has a lot of like nervousness and tension, and you're not you try to be your best self, but usually there's just like nerves, I think.
Yeah.
But then, so if someone's like, yeah, let's do it again, I will usually go out again, even if I had like a little bit of a, maybe not, but then I'll go out again. And then, you know, I give people a second chance, but I waste a lot of time and money that way. Yeah, it's probably better your way.
I think like if you hit it off with someone and you're nervous or whatever, you always know anyway. Like
That's true.
so.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Do you find there to be any differences between New York dating and LA dating?
I think like LA dating has a lot more actors. Who I avoid. Like
A lot more headshots.
yeah, a lot of like really professional looking photography, but also like I was dating in New York online like before people like had really nice pictures of themselves, so it was all like selfies and shit, you know.
Yeah. I'm kind of happy that it's like better quality pictures now.
I feel like it's more deceitful though, like 'cause they're so much better looking photos. Like before, when it was like these shitty selfies and like mirrors and stuff, you're like, okay, this is you in a bathroom light, like this, like I know what I'm getting myself into, like, you know, like.
Yeah, I think that all of your pictures on your profile were selfies, and except for like there's 1 or 2 at the beach or something, right?
Yeah, I think one is a selfie and like at least 3 are not, and then the last one is, I don't fucking know.
Do you have a strategy with like how you put your profile together?
I don't know. I think it was just like, these look good together. I don't know. I used to do visual art, so, but I don't know if that really comes across.
Really? Why not?
I'm just with my fucking profile.
Oh.
I think it comes across with like anything like that I make. Like if I 3D model something, it looks pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
But like with my dating profile, it just probably looks like a dating profile.
It's not a lot of effort, not as much effort put into it as like a 3D model that you're making.
Yeah. I
That
didn't
makes
spend
sense.
8 hours on my profile. Like, should I change this? Should I move this? Like,
yeah, well, it's different for girls though too, because like when I am about to like create a profile, when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna date now.
okay.
I do some like extensive research. Like I'll text my friends who are girls and be like, is this a good picture? What about this one versus this one? What order should this be in? There's a lot more strategy when it comes to guys, I think.
I've done that for male friends, but I think like it's all just like made up, and you guys are just thinking that if you do something different, you'll like get this other outcome. Like you're trying to control the uncontrollable, which is being like a guy on a dating app, which totally sucks. And I know like your side sucks. And you're like, when did she message back and ghost me and like all this stuff? And you're like, maybe if my photos, no, like she's a fucking asshole. Like,
well, I mean, I know that women have like separate issues too with like just being inundated with messages and dick pics and all that great content.
yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
people that host podcasts. Sorry.
You're out there catfishing us.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I think I look like my pictures though, at least, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've met from dating apps, or especially like in this round of me doing the podcast, everybody thinks that I'm a lot shorter than I am.
You have like a short face. You're like super tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the last couple guests I've had on here, like, whoa, did not realize you're going to be as tall as you were. I thought you were going to be like 5'8" or something.
I think it's your shoulders, because you think by like your shoulders are kind of small for like your height.
Yeah. Thanks for confirming that for me.
Sorry, I just mean your head versus your shoulders. It looks like you're going to be like a short dude.
Yeah, I have pretty narrow shoulders, especially compared, like that's like something that bothers me so much about myself.
Does it really?
Yeah, but it's like I know it. You don't have to feel bad. It would be like, oh, I brought up your insecurities or whatever. But yeah, I have narrow shoulders and wide hips, and it's like fucking sucks, and I hate it. Like I wish I was a little bit broader. Man, This is turning into like a depression session for me.
I mean, like, it's always good as a guy to be like, surprise tall, you know?
Yeah, well, I also don't think I'm listing my height on dating apps right now because like I'm here for a podcast.
Yeah. His dating app podcast is his dating app profile is his podcast stuff, so he didn't like just trick me into thinking we were going on a date.
Yeah, well,
and then turn out to be really tall and be running a fucking podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird on Bumble though because they have weird photo restrictions that I have to actually have a picture of me.
Yourself, or you get reported.
Yeah, my Tinder profile is completely different. Like I have to. Tinder allows you to have text overlay on the pictures. So this right here is my Tinder picture, where it says "Please read my about me." Mm-hmm. But every time I put that on Bumble, they take it down because you're not allowed to have text on your picture.
Yeah, computers can find that really fast.
Yeah, so I have to like have an actual picture of me and then later on pictures of me.
I
like,
bet if you wrote
computer.
it on a sign, it wouldn't detect it.
Yeah, if I like had a notebook that was like, please read my.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Computers aren't that smart.
Yeah, they're not. Anyway, New York versus LA, and then you were in San Diego too, right?
Yeah. So San Diego was all the people in LA that liked hiking just like moved to San Diego. So like I couldn't go on like the dating apps there because it was like all of these like really like outdoorsy like hippie people. And like I thought initially that if you date someone like that, you can just be like, yeah, when you're doing that, I'm going to be like alone and like doing my own thing. Mm. But like I was dating this guy and he was like that and his whole fucking family was like that. So for Thanksgiving, it was like we ate vegetables and like went on hikes and like I was just like, oh my God, like when do I get to drink? Like drink and like eat really, really bad for me food.
Where's the turkey?
Yeah, and then his whole family didn't like me, and for like various reasons, that being one of them, that they thought I was a bad influence. I was a bad influence on him because I was making him play video games and like drink beer. Like,
oh, is that why they didn't like you?
Yeah, they asked me like what my hobbies were. And I was like, oh, I like making games, you know, playing board games, like, and they were like, okay, but like, what are your hobbies? Like, because they wanted me to say like
some kind of outdoors thing
and badminton and
badminton.
I don't fucking know anything. It would have like appeased them, like
anything physical,
just anything. Yeah. So.
So you design games?
Yeah.
Has that ever like helped you with dating apps at all?
I think like it would, but I don't design like the games that guys like to play. No. So they want me to like make Call of Duty, and even though like I did work on this one game that I can't say I worked on for reasons.
Yeah.
And they've all played it, but it's like that's all they want to like fucking talk about, and it just has nothing to actually do with me. Like what I make is like, I don't know, like when you go on dates with girls, are they like, oh my God, your comedy, let's just talk about your comedy the whole fucking time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But
it's not good, right?
It's not. It sucks sometimes because It always sucks the most when they're like, "Oh, you're a comedian. Like, tell me a joke. You better be funny." And then it's like I'm already like on the back foot of having to prove something to you, and it's like, dude, this is already. I have to prove like I'm not gonna murder you. I'm like what I look like in my profile. It's like now I have to prove like I'm a comedian. And plus, jokes never work one-on-one.
Yeah.
They never work one-on-one.
Well, not like stage jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a totally different vibe.
Yeah. But, yeah, a lot of times it's like that's all people have to grasp at.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
it's not good.
Eh.
It's just not, I guess it's just not good for like either side. So it's like if I made a game that you liked and that's all you want to talk about, it's like I'm still just like a human being and I probably want to talk about normal shit.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's a game that if I played the game that you made or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's say it's fucking Kingdom Hearts or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, Kingdom Hearts, I fucking love that game. Remember the part where blah, blah, blah? Then it's not about you anymore. Then it's more about Kingdom Hearts.
Also, like, the game that I made, like, I spent most of the time just, like, in the shop of this game. Just, like, debugging, like, issues.
Oh, man.
So, like, you being like, oh, my God, you know that part? It's like, yeah, I didn't work on that. So, thanks. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
So, wait, how long did it last with the guy whose family hated you?
It only lasts for like after his family hated me, it only lasted for like 2 months after that. We were going strong, which is how I ended up in the like meet my family situation.
Yeah, that's not a 3 weeks into it, like, hey, Thanksgiving, you want to come over?
Yeah, this was like, it was like 8 months or something, and it was pretty serious. And then his like family like hated me and had like a whole list of things that they didn't like about me, and he told me
they had they made a list.
They had like everything that I said that had offended them. Like, what? And I was like, dude,
do you remember any of the things?
So okay, so his mom was telling me how she had to get like they had a shotgun wedding, which is how they got married.
Yeah.
Because she was pregnant with her son, and I was like, that's so weird, because like, 1 in 3 pregnancies end in miscarriage.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, like sometimes shit just comes
out of my mouth. Did you just say that at Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
They're like doing the blessing. They're like, all right, God, thank you. And you're like, miscarriages happen.
Yeah. I should have just been like, well, you should have just gone on a roller coaster.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I can't help it. Sometimes I just say stuff because I'm like not aware they're like totally inappropriate and insulting.
Was your boyfriend like appalled when you said that? Or
no,
was he just like,
ha? He'd been dating me. No, it wasn't a joke. Like, I was just literally just like, that is weird because miscarriages are super common.
Yeah.
Like, my friend had just had a miscarriage and she wanted the baby.
Oh,
like,
man.
they're super common, and women don't talk about them.
I didn't realize it was that common. 1 in 3?
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't realize it was
It's actually more common than that, like, and it's based off of trimester. So, like, if it's, like, within the first month, like, you can just have a miscarriage and not know. Like, a lot of people won't even know they're pregnant. So, yeah, it is super common, and women don't talk about it because they're ashamed, and it just came out of my mouth. And she didn't like it. I don't know. There was, like, other shit, too. Like, we had, like, 3 different conversations about homeless people, and I was like, why are we just talking about homeless people? This is so weird. And they're like, didn't like that I said that.
Why not? Were they, like,
They were like, because they felt judged.
Did they hate homeless people or something?
No, they just, like, kept talking about homeless people, and I was like, this is so weird, guys. Why are we doing this? But I wasn't like, you guys are fucking strange. Why are we talking about homeless people? Like, I hate all of you. Definitely tell your son to break up with me. But, yeah, no, they didn't like me. I wasn't athletic, and I'm a little, like, blunt and from New York, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
East Coast, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's very strange. I would love to see, like, if they actually had written down a list of things that were like, these are the reasons why you should break up with Bethany.
I'm sure
Number one.
I'm sure they did in their heads and then like went over it over and over again because like he was neurotic and they were neurotic. So like I'm sure they were like just like obsessing on everything that was wrong with me. And I'm like here like and he tells me the whole thing and I'm like, one, don't tell your fucking girlfriend this, that your parents hate her, like with this like long list of every reason why they hate her. Because that's going to make me hate your fucking parents.
Yeah.
Two, I can't do anything about it. You're not just like, hey, fix this thing.
Yeah,
it's
go
like,
back in time and don't talk about miscarriages.
Dumb things. Yeah. So usually what I do when like two people aren't working like as like friends, I'm just like, hey, like they kind of think sometimes the stuff that you say is a little off-putting. And if you want examples, I can bring it up. But just if you're a little more thoughtful, I think they really genuinely like you. Even if they fucking, like, fire-breathing hate you, like, that's just not the way to, like, approach it, is maybe, like, they hate this about you. So,
yeah.
So it was, like, about 2 months after that. My first instinct was, like, hey, like, let's pump the brakes on our relationship, and I don't ever want to hear about your parents again for a while.
Well, did he tell you that his parents didn't like you before that you guys broke up?
Yeah.
And then he was just like, I'm going to soldier on, babe, because you're the best.
He was like, well, we got to fix this. And I was like, I don't want to fix this. Like, because the way that it was like sort of like brought up, you know?
Yeah.
Then like, people like you or they don't like you. And it's just not something you can like really fix.
That's such a bummer.
Oh, the relationship?
Well, it's a bummer that like, if the person that you're dating really likes you, but then their parents don't like you, how, like, pernicious that thought process and, like, incepted, be like, oh, maybe she's not great because my parents don't like her, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of had something like that. Like, one of my first girlfriends was Jewish, and her parents were, like, super Jewish, and they were very much like, we want our daughter dating a Jewish person, and I'm not Jewish. And so they were very much like not approving of it. And I think that weighed into us breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
I mean, it definitely does if the parents were on your side. Like, it becomes a reason not to break up with the person.
Yeah, because
like,
then it's also...
You're like, oh, my parents really like him, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's also like the thing of... then you're constantly having to prove yourself to the parents. Then you're always playing catch up, and
I don't do that shit. Like, once people like don't like me, I'm just like, I'm gonna keep being me. Maybe you'll get over it, but like, I don't want to try to make you like me. I'm so bad. Like, what do you think I was doing in the first place? I was trying to be. I swore less. I tried my hardest, which just happens to be that my hardest is still like blunt and off-putting. Like, yeah. So it's like,
well, that's a good way to like eliminate people from your life that don't accept you like that. You know,
it's not a good way to like make a good impression on parents. I tried. I'm only like in so much control over like this vomit that comes out of my mouth. Like.
So have you met that person from a dating app?
No, we met at like a dumb like LA party hosted by like Google. It was like the Google if you're making like VR bullshit for the Google Pixel phone when it first came out, they like had like a VR headset. I don't even know if they still do, but basically like you strap a phone to your head. Like, great idea.
Yeah, I feel like that technology came out and everyone was like blown away for 2 months, and then now it's back to like, wait, we're gonna wear our phones on our faces? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, exactly. They should have just been like, how dumb does this sound? Should we make this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yuck. So was that were you both traveling to LA for that?
No.
And then you went back to San Diego?
No, I was in LA at that point. I was living, so I went to USC. So I was like working at like a VR company that made like games for phones and shit. So.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Thanks.
You can be proud of that. That's really cool. And if you're like debugging the game that every single man plays or whatever. You're like, they just talk to me constantly about this game that I debugged. I'm just like, ugh, why don't you just worship me already?
Why don't you worship me for my meanness instead
Yeah.
of worshiping me for this game that I just worked on? Like, figure out what you like about me and then tell me about it.
Well, my favorite part about you is that you worked on that game. It's like super rad. Anyway,
It's like, forget that happened.
you free next Thursday.
Let's role play where I didn't make this game. Like, role play, I don't work on games. And I just work at Starbucks and you have a thing for me.
Oh, well then you're... I wouldn't want to date somebody that works at Starbucks.
Do you not make a solid coffee? Like, I'll make you a cappuccino, frappuccino, like Tivana tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of hiking first dates in San Diego? Suggestions?
It was a lot of adventures. Adventures
Oh,
is on
yeah.
everyone's app. Like,
Love
now.
adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this one guy did actually ask me to go, like, skinny dipping. And I was like, this is just, like, straight how I get murdered.
Like,
I'm sorry.
First date? Skinny
yeah.
dipping?
I was like, I'm not going to fucking go skinny dipping with you. Like, no.
Was it in a pool or the ocean?
Ocean. Because
Oh,
San Diego.
God.
Like, San Diego is like these outdoorsy motherfuckers. So they're inviting you to skinny dip in, like, the freezing cold, like, California ocean.
Yeah, fuck that. Get stung by a jellyfish?
Do they have jellyfish out here?
Do they?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really go in the ocean. I went
Yeah.
to Santa Monica last year, and I just saw a dead like sea lion rolling around on the beach, and everybody was like taking pictures of it and crowding around it, and was like,
Were
"What are
they
you guys
selfieing
doing?"
with it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Ooh.
it was like the wave kept pushing it more onto the beach, and then taking it back out, and then pushing it back on. And it was just
scary.
a dead sea lion.
It's scary just because I'm like, there's sea lions out here. That's what I got from that. Like,
Yeah.
don't go swimming. There's fucking sea lions
Dude,
in
straight up,
California.
fuck the ocean. The ocean is scary. You can't see it.
You can't drink it.
No, it's
like-
poison.
Yeah. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah, let's take the ocean to the moon.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't know.
we've really gone off.
Sorry.
We
Sorry.
went from dating to like, now we're gonna put the ocean on the moon. Fuck the ocean. Be more drinkable.
Yeah. Or let's just, like, make it less salty.
Yeah.
Yeah. That won't do anything to the environment. Let's just definitely do that.
Oh god. So you didn't go skinny dipping in the ocean?
No.
Have you ever gone skinny dipping in your life?
No, I'm not that kind.
Mm-hmm.
Not that kind. I think I've done the bra and underwear thing, you know, the, like, basically a bikini.
Yeah.
But no.
I think I've only gone one time in my ex-girlfriend's pool. Yeah.
Was she there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be funny. It's like we had broken up for 3 years. I just break into her house.
And just skinny dip in her pool.
This is what you get for breaking my heart, you bitch.
I'm just using this pool like you used me.
By the way, this is my new girlfriend.
She's in her bra and underwear because she feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I'm just swinging the dick.
So you're missing out on.
Gross. So do you have any like really weird or bad
Oh, I
first
do.
dates?
I have some good ones.
Oh yeah?
So this is a dating app one. This
Okay.
is like Tinder.
Where was this?
This is LA. And this guy was like Rory's boyfriend on the Gilmore Girls one fucking season. I didn't know, but I like told my friend later. And
He was
she
an actor?
Yeah, but I didn't know that either because I don't fucking date actors. So he's like, yeah, do you watch Gilmore Girls? And I'm like, no, why would I? Do you watch Gilmore Girls?
I've seen it because I had a sister older sister that really liked it.
Okay.
It's a really verbose show. There's a lot of words in it.
Yeah. I do like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, same writer, but but I don't like Gilmore Girls. There's just a little too whatever. So I was like, no, I don't know this thing you're trying to impress me with, guy. But I had just gotten out of a relationship, so I was like, all right, we're having sex. So it was like, so we had sex, and during the sex, he like pulls.
Wait, first date sex?
Yeah, first
Look
date
at
sex.
you.
That's what I
fucking
do like
high-fiving.
after I get out of a relationship. I'm like, I just gotta fuck someone so that I at least, you know, in your head you're like, I'm never gonna fuck someone again, you know,
Yeah.
like you're like it's it's never gonna happen for me. I'm just, like, he was the last person that's ever gonna fuck me. So I was like, okay, you guy I don't really like, we're gonna have sex. So we're having sex, and he, like, pulls out, and he, like, goes to put it in my ass without asking me, and I was like, nah. So I just, like, booked it and left.
You just left.
I just left.
It was like, oh, sorry, and then you're like, nope, you're done.
And
later.
I was like, no, you asked for that. I'm kind of like that. I can be like that. I'll just, like, have sex with, like, random people off the apps and then just be like, I'm probably never going to talk to you again because this was some kind of, like, I needed to have sex with you for this reason, like, for my reason. You're a guy, so you're probably, like, cool, sex is good, whatever, but it's not like I ghost. I'll just be like, either the sex was bad, which is, like, most of the time because, like, when you just have sex with strangers, it's never good.
Yeah.
But it does get rid of the, like, I haven't had sex in, like, 3 months or, like, those things that, like, go on in your head where you're like, am I ever going to get laid again? It's like it can get rid of that,
Yeah. That's such a luxury that women have.
But I just said the sex is always bad. It's just, like, it just gets rid of, like, your, like, neurotic, like, inner voice being like, you're never going to get fucked.
What makes it bad? Just because you don't know the person, they don't know
You don't know the person. It's awkward for them. You're not used to them touching you. They don't know how you like to be touched. And, like, you're not even, like, on good enough terms with them to, like, feel, like, vulnerable enough to talk about those things. So it's just, like, this really, like, like, never good.
Has a guy ever been like, what? You want to have sex? No.
Yeah, it does.
Really?
They're like, I want to go down on you. And I'm like, I didn't ask for that.
Like, nope, don't do that. You just fuck me, buddy.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys just want to, like, go down on women before they have sex with them some way. I think it's because guys are so concerned about, like, women not coming during sex. Mm-hmm. That they're like, at least I know that she'll come if I eat her out.
Well, it's also part of foreplay. You just are like, kiss, stick it in.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't really like it, so there's that.
Yeah, you don't really like it when people go down on you?
No. So
I've met some people like that.
You've met women like that?
I've met women before.
Yeah? Is that a lot of women?
No, it's a small portion, but a lot of women that I've talked to about that don't like it, it's like an intimacy thing. They feel like it's very intimate for you to be, like, there doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But it's like some kind of, like, year of dating level of intimacy where it's like, it's not going to happen on the first date.
Yeah. But would you go down on a guy?
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, I'm not in high school anymore, and I'm not, like, trying to make people like me, so... Like, it's a first date. We're going to have sex, you know? Like, I'm not going to, like, go down on a dude unless I'm dating him either, just because I'm like, I don't like you enough. Like...
So you just eliminate all foreplay.
It's not all foreplay. There's, like, touching and heavy petting.
Yeah.
And, like, sex with your clothes on bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Dry humping.
Yeah, dry humping. But I'm not going down on a dude. And he's not going down on me.
Well, that's a fair trade.
Yeah. But that's another thing. I'm like, well, yeah. That should be the case. If one doesn't do it, then the other doesn't have to.
Yeah, the last girl that I had sex with, like, went down on me. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, do you want me to go down on you? She was like, absolutely not. I was like, oh, okay, sir. Just returning the favor, but...
But she also didn't want that unless you were, like, really dating?
It was one of those things where she feels like it's very intimate.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a joke about a girl who... She didn't like to go down on guys, and she said because it feels too intimate, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But then the first time that we had sex, we were wearing a condom, and then halfway through, she was like, take the condom off. I fucking hate condoms. I was like, hey, you know what's more intimate than going down on me? Starting a family with me. That's really intimate.
Yeah.
That's 18 years of legally bound intimacy, you know?
So did you take it off?
Fuck yeah, I took it off.
It's okay because your dick was, like, basically covered in spermicide. Like,
exactly. It was all good.
Right, yeah.
That girl didn't want to see me again after
she didn't?
2 more times of seeing each other.
Why?
I don't know. To be honest, she was just like, I'm not in the right place. And I was like, that's fine. It was like so sad for me. I thought that she was so hot and so cool. But then, that's what happens.
Oh.
And then I started a podcast.
This was like what started the podcast, isn't it?
No, this was like over a year ago. But podcast's pretty new. Mm-hmm. Anyhoozle.
Yeah.
So Gilmore Girl guy tried to stick it in your ass.
Yeah, and I just left because like I don't have butt sex either, so like that's definitely something that you should ask.
Did he text you afterward like, wait, what happened?
He was like, I'm so sorry, and I just blocked him. I was like, I don't want to hear it. I also was probably like, most of the time, like after I have first date sex, I don't like see the guy again unless I like enjoyed myself. So, and most of the time I don't enjoy myself, so I was like, I probably wasn't gonna see him anyway, and I also didn't like him being an actor. So,
what's your beef with actors?
I don't know. I don't really know. I think it's just there's so many of them, and they might be narcissistic. Yeah, I don't really know. I think I just have, like, bad... Like, I'm sure there's an actor out there I'd like, but I tend to, like, left swipe them if they're, like, an actor. I don't know. Do you date actors? Actresses?
Yeah, I would. But, when you're a guy on dating apps, you kind of just take what you can get. Because it's like, you don't get that many matches. Mm. But I've recently, like... I put my foot down on a thing, and like I don't date women with cats anymore.
Are you allergic to cats?
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats, and I also dated 3 girls that had like a bunch of cats, and I just fucking hate cats. I just realized that after dealing with these cats that these women had, like, and I might even extend it to pets in general, like dogs too, like. No woman that I've dated has ever had a well-trained pet. Like, it's always if they have a dog, the dog jumps on the bed while we're having sex, and then the dog will just, like, start humping my leg. Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, I can't. And then if you put the dog out of the room, it starts crying and whining, and then the girl will be like, oh, well, wait, I can't do it while he's listening to them cry. So then it's like there's so many complications, and then they can't sleep over because they have to be with the pet, or I can't sleep over because I'm allergic to the cat, and it's a whole thing, you know?
I kind of hate dogs, so...
You hate dogs?
Yeah, I don't like how, like, attention needy they are. Like, they always want you to, like, make eye contact with them and, like, give them lots of, like, attention. Yeah. But I'm a cat person, so, like, we can't be friends, but...
you have cats?
No, I don't have a cat, but... Okay, so I had a cat, and that guy I was talking about in San Diego...
The one whose family hated you?
Yeah. He was allergic to cats, so I, like, brought the cat home to my mom in New York, because I was like, that's how serious we were.
Wow, sacrifice.
Yeah, but, I don't like people who, like, think their pets are, like, special or good, and, like, talk to them in, like, a baby voice.
That's every person that I've dated with a pet.
Yeah. Like, my friend came over and was like, you talk about your cat and treat your cat like a really shitty roommate. And I was like, yeah, that's basically her. She's just, like, never cleans up after herself, like, just, like, eats all this food, never buys anything, you know, like...
Constantly causing problems.
Yeah, she's always just, like, fucking trying to escape and shit. Like, she's, like, every now and then, like, we'd, you know, chill and hang out and be cool, but she just was, like, a shitty roommate. But...
Well, is your cat still alive?
Yeah, she is. I just, you know, it's kind of been easier to, like, move around. Like, a lot of places are, like, no pets and shit. Yeah. So I get to, like, visit her when I, like, go home for, like, Christmas and stuff. At some point, if I get, like, a single or something that allows pets, I'll bring her back, but...
Well, that kind of took a sad turn. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, like, that you separated from your cat that you kind of hate.
Oh, no. That's how to have a relationship with a cat, because the cat kind of hates you. Mm-hmm. So if you guys both sort of hate each other and then also enjoy each other, it's like, yeah, that is how to have a cat relationship. People who, like, baby their fucking cats are, like, doing it wrong, because you can just, like, throw a pillow at your fucking cat and it'll run away. Yeah. That's what it wants sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I just get The last time I was on dating apps to date, I put no cats, no women with cats.
Yeah.
It's like, and I explained like I'm allergic, and I also
fucking hate them.
I also fucking hate them and women with them.
Women who like them.
But then I was getting swipes from women just to argue with me about cats.
Yeah.
I was getting into all these arguments about like, well, I think it's kind of fucked up that like, just because you're allergic, you can like take a Benadryl. It's really not that big of a deal.
I mean, it still gives you hives and you're just like knocked out.
Yeah.
Like it's not. As someone who had someone in their life who was allergic to my cat, I understand that Benadryl is not a realistic solution.
Well, it's also, it gets expensive, and then also, I wasn't that bad where like I'd break out into hives, but every day that I'd wake up, if I slept over at her place, my eyes would be like puffed shut, and I'd just be sniffly, and it sucked. It kind of like ruined the day, and then I'd try and do stuff with her, and it affected things.
Yeah, that sucks.
So, yeah, it's a bummer.
On Bumble, I think you can actually search for like no pets and like select that.
Do you pay for Bumble?
No.
Because I feel like that's an advanced feature.
Oh, maybe it wasn't a while ago.
Maybe. I could be wrong.
Yeah, because like, so initially when they launched that feature, at least it was free, and if they changed it to like you have to pay to use it, then I was probably just in some kind of like beta test or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But it might be worth it. I don't know. So you're still dating, or?
No, right now I'm just kind of focused on doing this podcast, baby. I don't really have time to do it because it's like every night I'm trying to record with people and get this shit going, and then and also I don't know. I'm in a weird phase where I'm just not really interested in dating or people or...
People?
Yeah, it's just... I was talking with you about this the other day, is that even with this podcast where I'm trying to schedule people, I get flaked on, and it's like, I'm just... I get that it's like, you're on a dating app to date, and I'm on it trying to make a podcast and do something like that, which doesn't like really align with your goals. But if you tell me that you're gonna do it and we make plans to do it and then you cancel the day of, it really fucks with me. And that, like, I take this seriously. Not to sound like a pompous dick or whatever, but like I'm taking this seriously, and I want it to be something, and I want it to be...
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah, like I want it to be a learning experience for people, and share funny stories and entertain, but also, figure out what's going on with dating and dating apps, and hopefully learn some shit. And then when people fuck me over like that, it like kind of really weighs on me, and it'll ruin my day. And doing dating on top of all of that rejection would just ruin my self-esteem so hard.
So do you feel like personally rejected when people set up like a podcast recording with you and then they don't show up, or do you just get angry that they're flaky? It's
more that I wasted my time and I could have been doing something else.
Yeah.
Like I take this, like I said, I take it seriously, and I want this to be a part of like what I do. And when someone makes a plan and then cancels the day of, it's like I don't even have time to like reschedule with somebody else. And if you're not interested, you don't have to do it, obviously. But it's more of the waste of my time. Like, so I had two and then potentially three people that I was supposed to record with yesterday. And I told you this story, but I just want to share it now. And both people canceled on me, and then I asked the third, like, hey, could you do it? And she was like, no, I'm doing something else. And I was like, okay, well, great. I didn't, like, I do aerialist circus performance stuff, and I didn't sign up for one of the classes that I normally go to on that night, because I was like, I set my time aside for this. And once I got canceled on, it's like, well, I can't do that now because it's too late. And it was just like such a waste of time and effort, and people just continually let you down.
Is that what happens like for guys when you set up dates?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times you'll set up, and I know people that do this where they'll set up two at the same time because they're pretty certain that someone's going to cancel.
It's like an airline flight.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, which is very disheartening because you want to have faith in people.
Yeah.
And I think that's my biggest flaw is I have so much faith in people and I expect them to like do things that they say they're going to do and then they don't. And that like really fucks with me
Oh my
in
God,
terms
I
of
have zero
dating.
faith.
Yeah, I don't know why I still do, but like I believe in people more, and it fucks with me in terms of dating, in terms of comedy. Like there have been so many projects that I've been like, hey, I'd like to do this project with you with like my comedy friends, and they're like, yeah, absolutely. And then the time comes to where it's time to do it, and they're like, oh, actually, I can't. Never mind. Just do it without me.
Creatives are like some of the flakiest people. Like I think honestly, like the reason that I'm able to like have jobs is because like the people that are actually geniuses and fucking brilliant like can never fucking show up to work on time. Like couldn't make it to the interview. Like they're just like these flaky spacey people who like stare at the wall and they're like, yeah, that'd be a great idea, and they just like to talk about things but don't ever do anything.
Exactly.
So it's impressive that like you have as many episodes as you have and you're like fucking editing them. Like,
oh, stop. Text it to me so I can screenshot it and save it.
no, I think it's really cool. I know like a lot of people like starting podcasts because I think that's like this new thing that people do now, and they're like, oh, I love myself enough, I want to be on a podcast. But they like don't consistently record. If they're doing interviews, they don't interview enough people like to have enough content, and then they don't put time aside to edit. So it's like, I don't know. It's like really impressive that you're doing this, and you've only like when did you start?
About a month ago.
Yeah, it's like really impressive, like the volume of episodes that you have, the amount of reviews you have. Like you're doing pretty good.
Well, you hear that, everybody? Fucking Bethany, giving old Joey Boy a compliment. Even got some merch now. Got a website. Made it all official. Don't worry about it.
Your background is like, it's like it looks like a background from like Windows, like with the roses.
With the roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to find I got really paranoid because. This is so inside baseball bullshit, but I had, with the roses, I had a different picture originally.
Yeah.
And then I got paranoid about, like, being sued because it wasn't labeled for reuse with modifications. So then I found a picture of roses that was labeled for reuse with modifications.
Yeah.
And so now I feel safe and all that shit. But anyway, have you had any other terrible dates besides Gilmore Girl Anal Guy?
Gilmore Girl Anal Guy. Oh, this one time... I went on a date with this guy. He was like a children's book author in New York City, and during the date, and this is like me being disgusting.
Yes, I love these. These are my favorite. When people are like, "Yeah, I fucked this one up."
So I knew I was sort of close to my period, but like, you know where this is going. So we like go and have sex, and it's just all over everywhere. It's like fucking Carrie, you know, like yeah. And then
he didn't text you back or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't really expecting him to, but I felt so bad that I was like, this didn't ruin everything, did it? And he's like, no, of course not. Yeah.
Man, you know what? Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Do you not, hold on, pause before we do this. Do
What?
you not like having sex on your period?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you usually don't do it?
I usually don't do it. I just thought I was like far enough away from my period to like.
See, I think that's bullshit of that guy to be. Like, I am so over like being like, ew, period sex. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to do it, like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
I'm not like grossed out by that, and it makes me disappointed when I hear guys that are like, ew.
It was so much blood though.
That's pretty funny though.
Yeah, I mean, like it.
Like, how much was it like ruin his bed?
Yeah. It was like, or like a serious amount. Like.
Well, you know, he's a children's book author. He's probably got some money to spare. You know?
Yeah, though he had his like own like a apartment in the Village, but I was like so sheltered then because I'm from upstate New York, where I was like, this apartment's so small. Fucking Village. I'm just like, oh, when I get older, I'm gonna get a real place. I'm never gonna be like 30 living in this like tiny cabinet.
Oh boy.
I I was like 22, so these are like the thoughts going through my 22-year-old head. And he's like pretty old, like some kind of like ad agency, Manhattan children's book author. Like, he's just like, I want to get some young.
Yeah. Some young bloody pussy.
Young bloody pussy. I was gonna say pussy, but I was like, no, but I guess.
Fuck it.
You said it. You said it.
I'll say it.
That's right.
Get some young bloody pussy. That apartment's probably like $5,000 a month or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was probably ridiculously expensive, but I was just like,
Did you ever live in New York City?
I lived in Bronxville, which is near like Sarah Lawrence College.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed with my sister in Weehawken, which is like the poor men's Hoboken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably now like just as expensive as Hoboken, but during that time.
Yeah, you take that train that takes you out.
There's just a little bus, actually.
Oh, it's a bus?
From Weehawken, there's just like this tiny little bus, and like $5 to go into Manhattan.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's totally like, it was a good place to commute. And then her street was like parking pass only, so like it was like pretty clutch, and she had one for like guests, so.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it basically sort of had parking because people weren't allowed to park on it or they'd get towed, so.
That was the funny thing about New York is you would take a subway train ride from Queens to Brooklyn, which was like an hour and 15 minutes. But if somebody was like, I live in New Jersey, but it was like a 40-minute train ride, you'd still be like, ew, New Jersey, no.
Yeah.
I'd rather take the longer ride
Yeah.
than take the fucking...
No one wants to go to Queens, though. Come on.
Hey, whoa, watch it. I lived in Astoria.
Did you live in Queens?
Yeah, Astoria's nice. Get out of here. I lived with all the old Greek people. It was great.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think, like, the hierarchy of New York, it was people that lived in Manhattan, people that lived in, like, Brooklyn. It was like, then you're cool.
Yeah, I remember just being very resentful of people that lived in Brooklyn because they thought that they were so cool and awesome, and they thought they were like, oh, I live in Brooklyn, it's like so nice, but their apartments were god awful shitty.
Yeah.
And my apartment was like so much nicer.
Queens apartments are way nicer, way larger.
Yeah.
Like,
and they were like, no, why don't you come to Brooklyn? It's like, why don't...
And it's cleaner, but Brooklyn people never leave.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They never leave Brooklyn. They don't have
Luckily I had a car in Queens, so I could just drive to Brooklyn, which was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you take the train, it's like an hour and a half.
Well, you'd have to take the train in from Queens and then...
You'd have to go into Manhattan and then go all the way to wherever the fuck they lived. These hipster bitches.
Yeah,
oh,
but...
man, losing half of my audience right now.
Yeah, is it just everyone in Brooklyn?
No,
listening?
Just people that are hipsters.
I assume it just has to be people in LA, and it's okay because LA people like feel like kind of like, I feel like LA people feel like that like New York people like think they're cooler than them, so like LA listeners want to hear why New York sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I moved because I hated New York.
Just like got like 100 listeners.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Everybody, New York's fucking terrible and it sucks, and if LA rules.
Yeah, it's the best.
But if you live in New York, it's actually pretty fucking awesome, and I miss it all the time.
You know what I don't miss? It being so cold that it just like burns your skin.
Yeah. That's what people don't understand about living in New York is they're like, yeah, it's cold, but like, it's whatever. Like, you're in those elements. If it's cold... So, like, I'm from Baltimore, and it gets cold in Baltimore during the winter, but you're walking from your house to your car, which is, like, 15 feet, and then you have heat.
Yeah.
When you're living in New York and you're in the cold, you have to walk however many blocks to a subway station. Yeah. And in my case, it was, like, 3 long city blocks. Yeah. And then you probably stepped in snow and you're wet, and then you... take the train and there's a piss smell, and then you get off the train, you have to walk 3 more blocks to go to work, and then you get to work and you're just wet and snow and you have like residual piss smell, and 5 years was enough for me.
Yeah. Another weird thing about New York is that no one dresses like it's that cold out. Like, So in like, let's say it's that cold in Michigan, you have like double layer pants on, crazy winter boots. Like in New York City, it's like you're always fucking have to be stylish. So like your boots suck and they like let water in, and like your pants, you can't wear a second layer of pants under them because then you'd look frumpy. So then you're just fucking walking around in even like way worse clothes, just as cold as Michigan.
Yeah. Man, don't miss New York at all. So glad to be out here.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, before we finish up here, I got to ask the questions that I ask pretty much everybody on this show. So, hope you're ready for this.
Okay.
What is one thing that you would like to change about dating? If you could change one thing with a magic wand, what is the thing that you would change?
I think that I'd design like a dating app where you basically have to like FaceTime before like exchanging numbers.
That actually is a dating app.
Oh, okay.
Somebody actually that I had on the show talked about it. It's called Beam, I think.
Beam.
Where you have to do a 30-second FaceTime with somebody before you can message them, I think.
That'd be rad.
Yeah.
I'll try that. I'm going to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Beam.
That's good. All right.
Beam should sponsor the Dating is Hard podcast.
Yeah.
If you're out there, Beam people, listen, give me money or something. I'm promoting your shit on my show for 2 podcasts.
You have to change your logo to just like Beam.
Yeah, sponsored by Beam.
Would you do it?
Would I do the FaceTime thing?
Well, yeah. Would you do this FaceTime thing, and would you change your logo to like have like a little Beam icon on it?
I mean, if I get paid, yeah, absolutely. I'd put a fucking butthole on there. If I'm getting paid enough money, you know. Okay. We all have a price, Bethany.
What is your price? How much is it?
Like $16.
Really?
No.
That's less than you paid for those buttons. I know.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Okay.
All right. Last question before we wrap it on up.
Yep.
Do you have any advice for people out there listening about dating?
Go on dates with people and show up, because that's how you can tell if you like the person. Because if you don't go, then what the fuck are you doing?
Don't stand people up.
Yeah. How did you get Taco Bell Girl to show up? Did she actually show up on the first meeting?
Oh, you're talking about previous guest Amanda from the Taco Bell Hotel. Yeah, we matched on Bumble, and my profile was about the dating app. She was like, I recognize you from Taco Bell Hotel. And then she was like, yeah, I'd love to do the podcast. Like, I have a bunch of stories. And then we got on. She was like, yeah, I don't meet anybody, and I hate everybody on dating apps, and I have no intention of meeting anybody for years. And I was like, wow. And part of me was like honored that she was like, I'd meet with you.
But she showed up for you.
Yeah.
You made her come out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was that scandalous Taco Bell picture that I had on my Instagram.
Really? Okay, now
I'll show it to you afterwards.
Okay.
It's very raunchy, and I hope that it doesn't offend you.
Is it raunchy?
Yeah.
Are you just like going down on a taco?
No, what?
I don't know. You were like, it's gonna offend me, so like.
I don't think it'll offend you.
Okay, you lied.
It offended Instagram.
Oh.
I tried to do a promoted tweet with it, and they said that I couldn't do it because it had excessive nudity.
Is the taco a vagina?
I'll just pull it up right now.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Do you have usually at this point I ask people like to promote their Instagram or something if they want to. You do not want to do that because anonymity, and I respect that. But do you have like a book or something that you think people should read? Any kind of suggestion that's, makes people better people?
Codependent No More. It's really good.
Codependent No More. Who's it by?
I don't know.
All right, well, just look it up.
Just
look it up on Amazon.
You've heard of it. Whatever.
Here, we're going to get a live reaction from Bethany from my Taco Bell picture. Okay. All right, here we go. You ready?
This is
3, 2, 1.
Is that you?
Yeah.
What? Did you Photoshop abs on?
No, I have abs. Wow. Fuck you.
I don't have abs.
I'm offended, Bethany.
I thought you were going to go down on a taco.
No, it's a picture of me with the Taco Bell sauce packet pillow in front of my dick. And then she thought that my abs were fake.
Wait. Okay, so the hotel, so you took that alone in your room.
Yeah.
Did you use like a selfie stick?
No, I had a selfie.
You had a selfie friend?
No, you have self-timers on.
Oh.
You also can do a thing where you video and then screenshot
from the
video. I think maybe, I don't know. Did I Photoshop my abs? I am so offended right now.
I didn't know.
That's fine. I feel like no one would really suspect me to be as fucking ripped as I am anyway. God, lost all of those listeners that I gained. All right, Bethany, well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you coming on the show and chatting with me for a bit.
Yeah.
And there you have it, everybody. That was my interview with Bethany. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something. Hope we all now know that people in Gilmore Girls are kind of creeps, you know? Sometimes they are creeps. Anyway, if you want to know more information about the show, contact the show, etc., datingishardcomedy.com. You can follow the show on Instagram at datingishardcomedy, and you can follow me on Instagram at Joe Welkie. The Dating is Hard live show is every fourth Wednesday at Pack Theater. You all should definitely check it out. It's a by donation theater, which means if you got extra money to throw the theater's way, do it. If you don't, guess what? You can still come to the show. I'm really enjoying doing this podcast, and I thank you all for listening. And if you could tell your friends about it, subscribe, give it a 5-star rate and review, all that good stuff. That is fantastic, and it helps the podcast get bigger and become something larger than it already is. I am happy with how it's going, you know. I think it's a pretty big deal right now as it is. So, yeah, just not to toot my own horn, but motherfucker, beep, beep. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. I'll catch you next time.